Weather portion of Ag Week now. It is cold. It has finally gotten very cold here at the tail end of the year. Seriously cold, I think it's fair to say, here at about Christmas time. But that obviously representing a major change in the atmosphere pattern, which we'll talk about. We've also, at least across most of North Dakota, not so much South Dakota, and not as much further places south, we have some substantial snow cover now, but it's of a very low content. So we really have not made any inroads on a moderately dry soil condition across the northern plains. The pattern looks cold and dry for the immediate future. How we got here? This is fairly remarkable because it's been well documented that the weather in Alaska the last few weeks has been way above average. There's a blocking pattern where the jet stream splits into two parts out across the eastern part of the Pacific Ocean. And what's happening is this frigid air, and all of this is near or sub-zero daytime, has actually gotten to us from central Siberia over the North Pole and then down through the Hudson Bay region. More typically, we get cold weather from Alaska or the Yukon into the northern plains, but this is a cross-polar flow that has brought this very cold air into the region, which is why we're able to get this cold, even though the usual source is not that cold. So where does it go from here? Well, with the jet stream dipping down the way it is, it's going to stay pretty cold through this week. By the way, this purple, that's like Arctic air. That's near zero or below daytime. The cold stuff, the blue, that's where I would call below freezing or near freezing daytime. And then further south, you can just imagine what those things. But it's going to stay pretty well frigid. North Dakota, northern Minnesota, a few breaks where it goes to maybe 8 or 5 or 10 above this week, but the cold air will actually come back, and the whole central part of the country is in a cold weather pattern. As we slip ahead to the second week, we'll find actually the cold air will be resurging in early January, although I do think we'll get a little bit of a break toward the end of that first week of the month. Precipitation-wise, it's mostly going to be around the periphery because this is all pretty dry. There'll be some rain in the Pacific Northwest, some snow mostly in the high mountains of the Rockies. Most of the midsection is going to be pretty dry. The rain and snow will keep reforming down south and then move up the Atlantic seaboard, and that's really where the precipitation is going to be over the next couple of weeks. We're just not going to see that much else precipitation-wise. As we move into the second week, there will again be a chance for some deep south snows and some rain and snow along the eastern seaboard, probably not very much precipitation in the middle. So the serious cold is here. Snow has covered the ground for parts of the region, but the forecast looking generally cold and dry for most of the next couple of weeks.